YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here yet again. It is Thursday Night Football breakdown today. Join as always, Stu. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I will say, if I'm being completely honest with you, the Dolphins are my least favorite primetime team. When I see the Dolphins on, just the ESPN app, when I open it up for the week and they're the first team, it's always pretty depressing to me because they've had so many stinkers over the years, like so many games where like people bet completions or even I bet completions or whatever, and they're down like 14 points at half, and you just have to hope you don't get like 2 interception Tua. You just get regular Tua. And that's just an awful bet when that's the only game of the day. Like when terrible Tua is on at 1 p.m., you can change the channel. You know what I mean? When it's the only game, it's brutal. So I kind of hate the Dolphins in prime time. But, 51 total, it should be a solid game for props. So excited to, break it down a little bit more. And hopefully I'm being overly pessimistic and we get a good game,
No, for sure. I definitely agree with you on that. But I'm hoping Tua does his thing this week and we can get a good game. Let's get through a quick recap. It's going to take a little while because I'll be on Twitter as well looking at the recap because obviously I was gone. I tried, man. I really did. I tried to make it work, and then the flights got pushed back on Monday. I'm like, I thought we were leaving Sunday. My wife read the ticket wrong, and luckily we had to look at it for our Uber to come pick us up, and it said Monday. Luckily we had the house an extra day, or else we would have been kind of fucked. But it was good. And now we're back. So I'm pulling up our plays from the weekend. So this will be Thursday night last week for this one.
Yeah, a long time ago. But yeah, Justin Jefferson was good. No surprise. Went over his number, 5.5. I don't know what their matchup is this week. I haven't looked too close, but I'd assume if it's 5, Lions. I assume it's not going to be 5.5 this week. Then I think I can say
this one's also with McCarthy. No, right?
So maybe,
yeah. Bozeman. It might be 2.5 because he fucking blows so much, but
that's very valid. That's very valid. Well, good thing we cashed in, even though Carson Wentz was like he was injured as hell.
Dude, he literally couldn't lift his arm.
He's crying on the sideline. I felt bad.
Dude, oh my god.
Yeah, and they were giving him a hard time. It's like, nah, he's fighting for his team, man. I don't know why you're giving this guy a hard time, but yeah.
Hey, those are the same people that said Aspinall quit in a fight. Those are the same people fucking.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, how bad must JJ McCarthy be, bro? If fucking O'Connell would throw him in that game, bro.
The thing, though, about JJ, one, it was very funny when he leaped over the guy that fell on the sideline. I don't know if you saw that. Like, that was very funny. A guy, went near him and he jumped over him and he looked, fine. So that was kind of funny. It was like, okay. But also, I don't get this narrative that they're just nursing him back for this perfect start. And everyone's been saying it's going to be this Lions game all along. Why the fuck would you want this to be the game that he comes back? This is a road game, right? 10-point dogs against the Lions. People have been saying for weeks, they're saving. Why would you want him to come back for this game if you were, keeping him out for so long? I don't know. That just seems like a weird narrative there. I think it's more likely that they were probably just being precautious and this was always going to be the date that he came back. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It might be an ugly one, though.
Yeah. Hutchinson just got paid, so he's probably coming after him, take his head off. But I had Herbert. That did not happen. I did not expect Kamani Vidal 170 or whatever the fuck it was for his total yards in that game. I think he had 8 carries in the first half, 10 carries maybe, and then he ended up with 25. I don't think he passed. I think he passed the ball once in the fourth quarter, or at least got one completion in the fourth quarter. Because the Vikings looked horrible. It looked absolutely horrible. I was not expecting that run defense to be that bad in that spot. So that one did not hit, obviously. And, we'll move on to Sunday. Anything else we want to talk about from that game before we move on?
No. I barely remember this game. That was years ago.
Yeah. What, a week?
Yeah, at this point.
All right. I had Brees on Sunday, who smashed that. Brees went for 190? 190 total in that one. I'm looking for your Sunday one. What was your Sunday? Van Jefferson.
He had 8 targets, I believe, in 1 catch, so he did not go over.
And then for the Monday game, you had Mahomes on the hook. And then on the hook for my side, I had him hit by the hook, which was Bobby Wagner, all reliable, 10 tackles for plus 120. So it ended up, I think we ended up going up like 0.01 with everything. But 3-3 across the board this week.
Yeah, no, excited for next week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get to this. We got 26-22, 5.4 units. The reason it went down that much was I did have a half unit play on Ladd, and I believe he had 6 in the first half. He had a drop that hit him in the face mask. That I'm like, if he ends up with 7 and that's the reason we lose, I was gonna be so fucking mad, so mad. But we picked the Ladd game. We were right. It was one short. I think he had 7 catches or 6 catches, and I don't think he had a catch in the second half, unfortunately. But yep, that's how she goes when the Vikings are getting fucking 30-pieced. In that one. So we move on to today to talk about a 8-point dog. We got Ravens -7.5 at Miami. Over-unders at 51.5. Stu, I'll kick it to you to start us off here. Miami coming off of best performance of the season by a mile. Absolutely cooked, dude. Their defense actually looked good. I was very impressed. They shut down probably, I would say people be saying that Bijan's number 1 running back in the NFL right now. Him kind of / McCaffrey maybe with how good he's been doing. But both of them sucked ass. Both were fucking horrible this weekend. But you got to give your credit to Miami. They looked really, really good. Do you think anything from that weekend comes through to this Thursday game? I know it's a tough spot. First game back for Lamar. They are at home. Maybe we have a little bit of a hangover after a win. What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to have a hangover when I guess maybe like your first real win.
It's a quick turnaround too.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just saying like it's like that's more something we think of for like successful teams. Like Miami, you got to keep winning if you want to keep your jobs. It's not one of those, oh, we're comfortable now. You guys are all still on the chopping block here. And honestly, people are probably auditioning for even other teams at this point, as well. With just trades and stuff. But yeah, one thing that stuck out, we obviously always talk about kind of one of the 4 main ones. I like the under in this game. Honestly, I was surprised to see over 50. And I believe it's even going up as well. Like it opened kind of 50. And
I actually agree with you very much on that.
Betting up. And I see why, because both of these two teams, where they struggle is in the explosive play department. And that's obviously kind of what you want for overs. But like when you look at Miami's offense, they are so like short yardage. It's so slow. It's a lot of, they get up to the line of scrimmage quickly, but check down, handoff. Last week, they were more aggressive than any week all year on the ground. And there was a lot of quotes about that, about kind of getting not just a chain involved, but also the backups as well. And we saw that with their highest volumes of the year for each of them, both Gordon and Wright. So obviously had a positive game script and benefited from that. But Ollie Gordon was playing early as well. Like they were very involved. So I think Miami is going to be a little bit slower. And then the Ravens, like, I don't know. They're kind of, I think the Ravens could win this game like 30-7, So like that's still an under, obviously. Because Miami's defense sucks. Like they had a great week last week, but I'm obviously not going to give them that much credit. Where they do succeed is the rushing defense, 14th in success rate. But the Ravens also go from like middle of the pack, 18th, I believe, rushing offense to the 3rd best rushing offense when Lamar is active. That's the kind of gravity he opens up for Derrick Henry and everyone else. So it's one of those where I think the Ravens should be able to just pass all over Miami. But if they decide to run the whole first half, it could also slow down the game a lot, make it ugly, assuming that they can at least contain Henry mostly. Even if you let up like a big chunk like 40-yarder, if you can mostly keep them at bay, then I just think we're going to get an under right here unless Miami's offense is a little bit better. Tua also can give you those pick sixes and stuff. That's on the table as well, but I'll take that risk, honestly. I think the under's pretty solid in this one.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I thought I was going to be different and say that too. I actually like the under as well. I told you I just started Miami's defense this week because our league is kind of crazy like that. But I don't know. For me, it's like I've made a lot. The only real money I've made on this team this year is based on Jordan Brooks' tackles, bro. It's just been every single game I'm taking this dude, and he's been phenomenal. I think he's number one. I think he's the top tackler in the NFL right now. But he's quick, man, and they're obviously filling the gaps. They were a lot better against the run last week. But I think that could lead to if the Ravens are scoring, I could see a lot more field goals in these, right? Because you kind of get to that 30, 40-yard range. And obviously these guys are one of the top rushing teams in the NFL. I think that's probably the only thing I want to – it's not good, but it's better than the secondary, right? It's a little bit better than the secondary there for Miami. So I do like Jordan Brooks. That's there's no tackle props out. My two favorite tackle guys are in this game, so I can't even take them yet, which is unfortunate with Roquan and Jordan Brooks. So it's always going to be one of those types of games where I could get there. But I do not see any lines up for tackles yet, which is very unfortunate because obviously those two are two of my favorites.
Yeah, it's interesting because Jordan Brooks, like, he's okay. He's not, like, great, but he just is always on the field, and their defense is always on the field. You know, because of how bad their offense has been at most times this year, they're just always out there. So, like, if you just look at, like, it's like the Saints, how Olave has so many receptions just because they're, like, the fastest pace and they run so many more plays. The Dolphins are, like, the same version of that, where they're just always out there. So he's racking up tackles, which is, you know, exactly what you want. Bobby Wagner is pretty similar, obviously.
Oh, yeah, dude. Those are the three. Those are my all-reliable three. And, Sherwood for the Jets. Those four are on rotation, bro. Those four are on rotation for tackles because they do their thing. So, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about from this game before we kind of talk a couple bets? I know I just want to go a little quicker with you having a long shot only, and I have one bet here.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't mind the Ravens, honestly, at maybe even like an alt line, like a minus 13.5 or something like that as well. Once again, Miami, like, what they did last week is impressive. They deserve credit, but also like a backup quarterback with some rust. And Bijan kind of stalled a couple times early, and then they just like collapsed. Like, it was just over at that point, which was kind of weird. But it's also not the first time Atlanta has shown quit this year as well, right? They obviously got stomped out by the freaking Bryce Young Panthers as well. So it's one of those things where I don't know. Like, I don't know how much I'm valuing a blowout win like that. And I know what's the one thing we know about the Lamar Jackson Ravens? They can beat the hell out of bad teams, like 40-13. You know, they're always in my region, the 1 p.m. game on TV. You just see them stacking up points against bad teams. And I think Miami's a pretty bad team. So, you know, if Miami can fight back enough, then, you know, that's maybe out of line. But I think a Ravens, you know, some 2-touchdown, 3-touchdown, like alt lines could be pretty solid as well if the Ravens do just kind of take over.
Yeah. No, I'm like I said, I'm kind of up in the air on the pricing of some of these things, just because, you know, first game back, you think there's gonna be a little rust, right, for Lamar as well. I mean, he's been out 5 weeks.
Yeah,
in that one,
all last week, obviously.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. But obviously, there's something up. There's something that had to be up. Right? I don't want to take a ton from that Atlanta game just because they did have Drake London ruled out like 5 minutes before the game anyway, too.
Yeah,
so that's it's obviously a big miss. So, yeah, I don't think I can take the.
Also, one quick thing about that: why the fuck did they cut Ray McLeod? They got nobody there. They got banged up Darnell, who already got hurt before the year. London's had some injury stuff. Why would you cut your backup when all you got's like Casey Washington and Hodge? Like, that was crazy. I just noticed that. I didn't really process it fully, but it just seems like such a weird time to cut a guy.
I saw that they were all posting these videos of him when they were in the locker room where he was just kind of almost looking like a cancer because he didn't get the ball in games.
Really?
Yeah, that's
not a great look if you're like a 4-string receiver complaining not getting the ball, but still. They could have used him out there when you just got Casey Washington and Kadero Hodge. It's like, well, Ray looks a little bit better now. You know, he's in the system. He knows it too. It's not like it's a new random guy that just got signed or whatever. But that just caught me off guard a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think that was a few things I did see out there.
It makes sense because, you know, there's got to be some reason.
All righty, let's get this rolling, Sue. Let's get this rolling. So, I'm going to have one bet, and then obviously you have your long shot here. But I'm going to be rolling with my boy Malik Washington here. I'm going to be playing him for over 3.5 catches at minus 122. Obviously, someone had to take a little bit of a step up when you lose Tyreek Hill. And, yeah, it's definitely been Malik Washington. I know he was, basically just a returner for these guys, at the beginning of the year. I mean, he was, still out there, but very much an afterthought in terms of, like, targets. I think he had, like, 15 targets through 4 games. And then, obviously, you lose Tyreek. And we've seen that target share tick up a little bit, 5, 5, 8, and 5, right over his last 4 without Tyreek. I think the biggest issue here is how much I like Roquan, right? And obviously you're going to probably have him matching up or spying at least with Achane pretty much all game. That's really their only other underneath guy. Jaden or Jalen Waddle's been, in that like 10 to 15 yard range, like he usually is. Obviously, he caught that 40-yard touchdown. Obviously, like 30 of that was yards after the catch. So I think those quick ones have to come out to Washington there. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball that well in this game. I feel like that's something that I don't see happening. So I think this is going to be just part of the run game. I think him and those quick screens out to Achane are just going to be part of the run game here. I have the craziest time looking at some of these games. Malik Washington literally cashed this prop 4 weeks ago and had 0 receiving yards in a game.
Yeah. That
might be one of the craziest stats I've ever seen. He had 4 catches on 5 targets, 0 yards. Throw me those 2. Hey, I'll take negative 2-yard bubble screens, bro, all day. Give them to me. It's tough to bet yards because you're just betting on his yards after the catch pretty much. And obviously he is fantastic at it. He's probably one of the top returners in the league. I would say top 3 right now on kickoff. Obviously he has a ton of chances usually in these games, but he's been great in that, and he's very good in space. You saw him in last game get his first touchdown of the season receiving, and obviously had to make a guy miss to do that. So really no yards down the field. And everything's going to be kind of after the catch, but that means he's getting those ones out of his hands quick. Tua's getting it out. And obviously it worked last week, right? Malik Washington obviously had like I said, had the touchdown, but 4 for 36, right? I mean, nothing crazy. Still got a touchdown in there. Over his, I think this one's funny too, is in 3 games this year, he has actually cleared 10 yards in terms of his longest catch. Every other game has been 9 or lower. And his longest reception, which I think is absolutely crazy because the 17-yarder was obviously the touchdown that he broke a tackle. But there's only 2 other games this year where he actually got a 10-yard catch because they're just bubble screening the hell out of him. And, give him the ball in space and hopefully something good happens. So I'm here for Malik Washington here, minus 122. I think it's on Rivers right now.
Yeah, no, you gave me a little PTSD because I bet his rushing and receiving at like 27, that game that he had 0 yards on 4 catches. And I haven't bet him since then, except for long shots, like receptions and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just annoying because in that game when I bet him, like I was hoping no Tyreek Hill, like he's going to take a step up. But he didn't. He just did the same exact thing. Like he's not a wide receiver, really. He's just he gets the ball in the backfield, gets a couple checkdowns or whatever. And there's no, taking the Tyreek Hill long, down the field routes or anything. Just fully check down screen guy. And I think this is kind of the only offense in football that would really support that. But that's all Tua does is just check down city. And like you said, Achane makes a ton of sense logically, especially if you're trailing. But Roquan Smith has got to be like a nightmare for that kind of player. I mean, just so smart, very well game planned. Like I would not want to be Achane in this situation. And we've even seen games like against the Bills, right, where the whole world was on Achane, and I believe he went under his prop in that one. And the Bills didn't even have freaking Matt Milano. They had their backups in. So we got a world-class guy that's, ready to game plan for you here. And so who else then becomes the option? I think Waddle should have a pretty good game, but man, like once again, the short yardage stuff with no Darren Waller, it's got to be all Washington. Yep. If Waller was playing, I'd like Waller, but when he's gone, who's the fucking guy? Julian Connor or whatever? There's 2 random guys.
I was about to, the funny part, I literally have the box score up. I was going to read you their wide receivers and tight ends lower than Malik Washington because it's Waddle, Washington. Obviously, Achane and Gordon were in there. Your boy, Nick Westbrook-Akine, is fighting here. I know he's your boy from Tennessee.
Full cardio. Downfield rolling the two offense is rough. You're not getting anything. One target a game, maybe.
Yeah, he had one catch, 18 yards. Tanner Connor, double first name, 2 catches, 6 yards. And we go down the list. Cedric Wilson, the ghost of Cedric Wilson, who's still playing football. And then 2 targets to the fucking fullback. That's really it.
Ingold, right?
Yeah, he's from Wisconsin, so I actually know he went to school like 20 minutes from me.
Yeah, I confused Tanner Connor because he's actually the backup. I put him in Hill, or Julian Hill, I think is the other guy. He's the starter, but he just didn't get anything. Both of them suck. They're both blocking tight ends. So it's like those guys aren't going to get the short yardage stuff. There's no one to replace that Waller role. So I just assume it's going to be more Washington, which just seems like a good role in the trailing game script for this one. And I agree. I don't really think they're going to be able to run. I bet Monungai last week, and I mean, they were good. Like the Ravens, their D line is banged up, but Roquan back is just so important. So like even
he's so fucking good, dude.
At the first line, their linebackers and safeties are great tacklers and stuff. So yeah, definitely agree with this one. I think it's just going to be a lot of short yardage stuff, and that's his whole job.
Yeah, I think Roquan had 14 tackles, 12 or 14 tackles last week. Against his old team, which was cool to see, to just watch the Bears just get cooked by one of their old guys. Because obviously Roquan was there for years and was phenomenal there, and they let him walk. And it's like, there's just not many guys that play like that, man. That's literally everywhere. Goes sideline to sideline, covers well. Like they're very hard to find.
Yeah.
What is it? In his prime.
Yeah. Literally. Like I mean, they traded him when he was at his best, and he's obviously helped out the Ravens a lot.
All right, so we'll just recap that one. Obviously, that's the only straight bet here. But Sue's got something for you guys as well. I guess I'll kick this. I know you kind of talked about this a little bit. Will Malik Washington yards be a good long shot this week?
Not in my books.
I mean, it's just
he's a 4.5 ADOT. 4.5. Like
my thing is like you're better off. I feel like you're better off just taking like those longest receptions. You know what I'm saying? Like that he breaks one. Because I feel like you might have to, like for him, you could long shot receptions at like 6 or 7 at plus 300-400. But for him to get up to the plus 300-400 in yards, he's gonna have to catch like 7 passes or 8 passes normally there. So unless he breaks one, which obviously he did to score the touchdown last week for that 17-yarder. It's going to be a lot of dink and dunk happening from this Miami team. So, all right, I think it's time, Stu. Time for a long shot. You have a plus 500 for us. If you guys could hit that like button for us, subscribe to the channel. I know it's been a little bit since you've seen us on here live, but I will kick it over to you, Stu, to take it away for your long shot.
I mean, unless you were watching your best bet show yesterday, I popped on there a little bit. A little plug to that, obviously. But, yeah, no, I mean, we're sticking with it. I haven't bet anything big in this game, but I do think DeAndre Hopkins' touchdown is one that stuck out, especially at plus 500. I was looking at a lot of options, right? Because I'm seeing this 50 total, 51 now, and I'm like, okay, I like the under. But this is clearly showing that the market is a pretty big fan of the offensive potential. And for me, Lamar Jackson was not as big a surprise to me as last week as most people, just because some of the practice reports did definitely come out that he was with the second team. And obviously Huntley was the guy taking snaps from the first team. And they had one just beat reporter that was kind of all over it. So that was nice. It was they did pretty well with Huntley as well. It was not a bad performance. But Lamar being back opens up so much for this offense, and not just in the passing game and the rushing game as well. Obviously, I expect Henry to look better. I wouldn't even be surprised if Henry had this 2-touchdown game. But even then, once again, 50.5 total. They're 7-point favorites. They're expected to score 4 times in this game. Like the market has high expectations. So I'm looking through this list of guys. Obviously, Lamar and Henry are the two, clear choices. But like I said at the top of the show, The Dolphins, and I've actually said it since like week 1 too, if you watch back to the show, the Dolphins defense as a whole is bad. Like they're weak across the board. Their running stats don't look great just because teams have been beating the crap out of them a lot this year, and you just run in those situations. But on paper, especially if you look at before last week, they were easily the worst passing defense in football. DVOA, EPA per play, easily the worst passing defense. Now, depending on what you look at, thanks to a really good performance against backup Kirk Cousins, they are now like the 31st or the 30th. So a slight bump, still bottom 3. But the point is, I think this is the worst passing defense in football. So even if Henry does have this good game, it just makes it so you have to bring your safeties down. You have to stack the box. I think Lamar is going to be able to get whatever he wants against this defense. And I thought coming to the year Hopkins would be like a fade target. I actually almost played his under that first week where he had a good week. I ended up just staying off and not playing anything. But I kind of thought, okay, older, at this second stage of his career, just kind of hanging on at this point. But the one thing DeAndre Hopkins will always have better than almost anyone else in football is his hands. I mean, the guy's got fucking glue on his hands, and it's awesome to watch. And where that comes out is 1, the red zone, where they play him a decent amount, and then 2, downfield passing opportunities. That is his role. He does not play a ton. He's not going to be super involved, but he's going to get a couple downfield passing opportunities. And when they're in the red zone, I feel pretty confident that he's going to play. So once again, I was looking at guys like Rashad Bateman. He's plus 320 because he's the deep threat, right? And I want to take advantage of a deep passing opportunity in this one. But Hopkins is another guy that is going to run some of those deep routes. His ADOT has been down the field so far this year. So rather than getting 300-ish for Bateman, I like Hopkins' upside outside of the red zone, but I like his upside more in the red zone because I think if they get down there and the first Derrick Henry run or 2 fails, it's just going to be a fade to DeAndre Hopkins. Like, that's a pretty easy play call. He's got great hands. He's done it a million times. And in a game where I expect them to be in the red zone a lot, I expect a lot of scoring opportunities. Why not take a risk on my boy DeAndre Hopkins? There's a lot of mouths to feed in this offense. That's why you're getting a solid price, but he's a great red zone guy, but he also gives you that upside of getting the deep ball outside of it, which to me is worth the price here against the Dolphins defense that is not good. So give me some DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. Why not?
Yeah, and it's nice too because you probably trust Lamar in the red zone throwing the ball too a lot more than you trust Huntley throwing the ball in condensed red zone. So that obviously just adds on top of another layer of, hey, we might throw it a little bit more here because obviously I think Henry had his 2 touchdowns last week, but I think they ran the ball every single time inside the 10, which you have a little bit more trust in Lamar to make the right choice, in the red area.
And could I give one more shout out to another guy? Real OG still watching. Another long shot I like in this one. Big fan of this guy forever. Keaton Mitchell, anytime touchdown is plus 800. You can get last touchdown at 40-1 as well. Damn. And he's earned a role. He's playing more. He wasn't even active in the beginning of the year. I really wanted Washington to trade for him, honestly. And then when that wasn't going to happen, I wanted the Chargers too, just because I thought that would be super fun. Mitchell is like budget a chain. The guy is explosive as hell. He's talented. He just plays behind freaking Derrick Henry. And the team knows that. But they're still now even getting him a couple carries a game. They should actually be leading in this one. He's going to get those carries late over Justice Hill, in my opinion. So, yeah, give me some Keaton Mitchell last. Because if they're in a blowout, if they're winning, I think Keaton probably gets those later touches. So 40-1 is crazy. Brashad Smith was just 12-1 in a similar projected game script with the same role. They're the same guy, except Keaton Mitchell way better than Brashad Smith. No offense to all these guys that are on that guy's bandwagon. So let's go. Keaton Mitchell, the real OG still watching. I think it's, let me make sure, but 40-1 last touchdown on DraftKings, and then 800 anytime on 365 and FanDuel. I like those as long shots.
Yeah, I do. I can just see this happening now. He scores a touchdown with like 2 minutes left, and then Malik Washington returns it to the house.
That would be rough. But I'd take the 800. I would be mad, but I wouldn't be as mad as possible. Still make a little bit of money.
Yeah, dude. I have so much riding on Malik Washington with him being the returner, and I'm having to start that fucking defense this week, dude. It's gonna be. I'm literally just, that's all I'm relying on. Would you play them, or would you play the Steelers against Indy?
Oh, man, that's a rough matchup for the Steelers, man.
And they've allowed 350 passing yards 3 weeks in a row.
Rough.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's who I'm competing with. Like, all these lower teams.
Also in special teams. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, yeah. You get points for for return yards.
So I'd probably just go with your Dolphins, just because the Colts are so efficient. So I think the Steelers will bounce back eventually, but not against the Colts. The
That's
Colts
what I'm
are
saying, dude.
smart too.
I'm looking down these lists. Like I can read you what the other defenses are, and in the like I said, the return upside of me having Malik Washington having to start this week because I have Rashad White out, I have Breece Hall out, I have all these fucking dudes out.
Yeah,
like you could start Atlanta in New England. You want to do that over?
I would probably rather do that one. I don't know what their return stuff is or whatever, but they have more like sack upside. And Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell, they give you some interception upside as well. Drake May's good, but obviously Ramondre Stevenson sucks. High fumble upside. Like, yeah, I'd probably go Atlanta. But once again, I don't really understand the special teams, how that, like, I don't know if they're better or worse there. So maybe that.
Miami's significantly better in terms of special teams. Like, they're.
I assume so. Just because if I can't even think of who the Miami return guy is, if it's Casey Washington maybe or Hodge, maybe one of those guys, but I don't know.
Yeah, they're the tough part is they're averaging almost like 150 return yards a game because they give up those. Even if it's a field goal, I'll get a chance to return. Hopefully it'll be on the Washington side there. But yeah, that's the tough part is all these. Like, I'm not starting Vegas. That team's fucking horrible.
Yeah, no,
that's your other options. Like it's rough out here, man. Trying to stream a defense on a week where I already have two defenses.
Yeah, I have to stream one too. I crushed with Cleveland, and then I had to go last week.
I keep Cleveland forever, dude. I don't care. I'll hold two defenses on my team to keep Cleveland. Those guys are.
Well, all my leagues are like low bench base, so I can't afford to be holding defense. I played with Atlanta last week, against the Dolphins. So
what they have negative?
Depending on the league, 1 negative, 1 like 0. But yeah, no. So I stream every week, but honestly, I don't know if there's anyone better than Atlanta, but that's probably who I'll keep in. I can even pull it up, see if there's a better defense. Jacksonville against Vegas is better probably.
They were
than
picked
Atlanta.
up already.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I got some sharp guys in my group.
Chicago against Cincinnati without Flacco could be big.
Is Flacco out?
I don't know officially, but I just saw an underdog. Okay, we don't know if he's out. Then I would pick them up. If he's not, then I wouldn't. But
I have my notifications on. But if Flacco plays, then he's probably
yeah. But it won't be a race for. It's not like everyone else in your league is waiting for that notification to go pick up the Bears. Like you'll have time if you do see it.
Yeah, it's just I have Miami in, so they're not going to tell me till Friday the game will be over.
That's okay. That's a good point.
That's the shitty part.
That's rough for you. Yeah. No, I'm just gonna pick up the Jags. Unlucky.
My buddies picked those guys up right away. They're already gone. So, but yeah, fuck yeah. Because if I roll the dice, play the Bears, or try to get the Bears, it's like the other options are Dallas at home against Arizona.
That I guess maybe just who's starting for Arizona. Not that it really matters that much.
No, I mean their defense is just so fucking horrible.
Yeah, but have they scored?
The other one that just got dropped was Buffalo, but they're in Kansas City this week.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's my options right now. That's who you're fighting with. Or Washington Seattle against Seattle. They're gonna get fucking torched.
I see that one as well. I was kind of not even gonna. I might.
The other one is Minnesota or Arizona. Minnesota against the Lions, or fucking Arizona at Dallas. Those are the fighting spots here.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm with it. I would probably go out of your choices the Falcons, but you'll have to let me know in the end who outscores who. I'm curious, with because the special team stuff is fun. I don't like that for fantasy just because I don't care that much and I don't want to think that much. But for best ball, I wish they'd do that. I'd like some special, because I drafted a ton of Malik Washington and guys like that, and I like the Turpins of the world. I would love if we could get some scoring formats that had that for best ball. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and Flam Fam, yes, this is a lacrosse sweatshirt. That is what sweatshirt I'm wearing.
Reppin'.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stu, anything else from you before we dip out today and we'll get ready for a Friday show?
No, I'll just say scroll back 5 minutes or so for my touchdown long shots before we started yapping about defenses and stuff. And be back here on Friday, obviously, with some more plays, and I'll probably have something for Thursday night. either tonight or tomorrow. But I fucking hate the Dolphins, man. I literally just have this like visceral like mental image of just me watching, just waiting for Tua completions, and it feels like a replaying theme because the Dolphins get put on primetime like twice a year at least. In this era, and you just have to sweat out if he's going to go from 9 to 22 completions in the second half, and like that's so not fun. Like when he sucks too, and 2 interceptions are live. So that's always in the back of my head when the Dolphins play, even after a 30-0 blowout. It's just like I feel like I'll always see the true Tua no matter what, you know. So maybe I'm being a little bit of a hater, but you know, we'll see. I'm excited for the game. I'll say if the Ravens win by 31, I'll be happy. I'll probably have some like Ravens by 3 touchdowns.
Crazy alt lines, huh?
Yeah, just $5. Why not? Just, you know, I always see that upside there, and obviously Lamar back. The season's on the line. You know what I mean? Obviously Snoop came in and saved it last week, and now you got a chance in a really weak division to find your way back there to the playoffs, but you got to win every fucking game. And if you don't have your foot on the gas against the Dolphins, I mean, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? So to me, that just screams we're going to get a good version of the Ravens, and they're well coached for all the hate they get as well. So maybe I'm a little crazy, maybe I'm a little aggressive on it, but I wouldn't. That's the most likely outcome, in my opinion, that they punch the Dolphins in the face.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I will dip out. You can obviously hear my dog going like a fucking little weasel.
He disagrees, you know. He's a Tua guy, Tua anon.
Yeah. So I got dip, but we'll be ready to go for Friday's show and be ready for. I know it's a little lighter this week for a Sunday slate because all the buys this week. But yeah, we'll be ready to break down some props for you guys, and we'll catch you then. So have a good one, guys, and good luck on all your bets this week.